The date is Thursday, June 20th, 2013, and this is Daily D&D. Hey guys, today I am going to finish the retelling of my last couple of weeks DMing my last campaign. It was an interesting experience because I had, this Trials of Hercules things that I was basing it on, and it was getting kind of difficult to try and do exactly what I wanted, and I ended up passing from a horrible quest giver to a secondary horrible quest giver, where the party was effectively going to go around and collect mystical animals for this big zoo. And I had worked on a character, but I really didn't have a lot going for it. And the party got to the zoo and didn't want to. They didn't want to do the quest, and they were just like poking around, looking at all these other things, and staying away from all of the different things that I had planned. And they didn't want to encounter my campaign, and ended up hopping into their airship, which also contains Time Machine, and flying off, supposedly to go to where before the animals had escaped, was the intent. But, because you never give the party a perfect time machine, they went somewhere else entirely. Now, we had been talking with another DM, and I was almost offered that everyone hopped onto a time machine and hopped off as a transition point for someone else in our group to take over telling the story. But I still had little tiny bits and pieces, and I managed, almost instantly to grab another story idea that I was contemplating of a tribe, the party interacting with a tribe of Amazons. They were going to get to that eventually, but it wasn't quite there yet. But I grabbed it, I shook it up, and I threw it effectively, and just kind of jumbled everything together. And at this time, I had also kind of killed, that one same players. The ex-Dragonborn was now playing an Eladrin, and he did stupid stuff, and once again got left behind through time travel because he murdered an old man in front of everybody, and they don't allow stuff like that on our airship. And so we ended up making the Amazon jungle about 300 years before the events of 5 minutes ago. And with that, there was that guy, that player had a character on the, in the world who was his other character's father. And so his, timeline probably got rewritten or something. No one's really addressed that. But yeah, we had a bunch of Amazons, and there were a bunch of male Eladrin tied up, and a female Minotauress to, entice, our Minotaur captain. And, it was just a really interesting way of having everything work. And one of the things that I love doing, I know it's a lot of work for the DM, because you have to keep track of everything, and it's kind of hard on the party because they don't necessarily want to pay attention to things that aren't happening to them specifically. But I do really, really love splitting the party when they are in a social encounter setting. I love me some social encounters. It's my favorite thing in D&D. And so the whole party came in and split. And the Minotaur challenged the Minotauress to this massive duel, and that was going everywhere. And, I didn't actually have them roll anything. I just story told of these two Minotaurs locked in this epic battle that was, going through and destroying this Amazonian town. Somebody went and tried to free, the Eladrin prisoners. Another person went and tried to free other slaves. And, hey, look, the only female character in the party gets free reign to walk around the city. And, oh, look at that. She's the party thief, and ends up taking this mystical belt that might have bound her soul into a contract from all time, or something like that. And so the party is just out doing everything, and it's really hard to do it correctly. And what you need to do is you need to move to, the people who are most bored, know what's going to happen in their little specific story, and keep their interest so that when they're just about to do, when they need time to think, move on to somebody else. When they're really, really excited, that's also a good time to move on to somebody else, because then they'll be excited for their turn coming up all the way around, and they'll be waiting for that turn. But I do really love splitting the party, and there was this massive, gigantic battle with lots of snakes at the end. it was a lot of fun, and I think it was a pretty good last session for our group for that campaign. And after that, I handed down my DMing mantle to the next person to pick up, and I'll start talking about some of that later on. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, it's been like 2 months since that campaign happened. I meant to do these videos sooner with more detail and stuff, and yeah, I don't know. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. But other than that, my name is Matt Wankow. This has been your daily dose of D&D. You guys stay online. I will see you next time. Peace out.